Chicago and the Philippines. A comprehensive review of the week's special community events, featuring many exciting personalities, handled by the most professional Chicago Philippine Reports TV staff.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Chicago Philippine Reports TV, still the #1 Filipino show in the Midwest. I'm Girly Pascual. Welcome to our show. Today we have all the top stories from the Philippines. We also have what's happening in our own Filipino American community of Chicago. We have interesting interviews led by our very own executive producer, Miss Veronica Leighton. We have Brigitte, Cueter, Carino. All these are coming up and more. Afterward from our sponsors, please stay with us.
Yan! Dito na! Perfect!
In a 57-page petition for certiorari filed by his lawyers, former Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zal Dico asked the Supreme Court to issue a temporary restraining order and/or writ of preliminary injunction restraining Ombudsman Jesus Crispin Remulla, his representatives and successors from implementing a November 14, 2025 resolution which recommends the filing of charges against Co in relation to alleged anomalous flood control projects in Oriental Mindoro. Co is facing graft and malversation cases at the Sandigan Bayan. Included in Co's arguments, his constitutional right to be informed was violated. The ombudsman also allegedly committed grave abuse of discretion in proceeding with the case despite failing to properly notify Co, in refusing to furnish him copies of the case records, in conducting the investigation with undue haste, and when the ombudsman found probable cause against Co. Co also alleged that the ombudsman deliberately ignored the interim report filed by the Independent Commission for Infrastructure or ICI, which did not recommend Co's indictment. Co wants the Supreme Court to annul and set aside the ombudsman's resolution. An apostille or a certificate that authenticates the origin of a public document was attached to the petition for certiorari. According to the apostille, Co appeared before a notary public of the Stockholm County Administrative Board last January 15, 2026 in Stockholm, Sweden. The Philippine government previously said it believes Co is in Lisbon, Portugal. In a certification, Co said he caused the preparation and filing of the foregoing petition. He added that their factual allegations have evidentiary support. The Supreme Court said the petition will immediately be included in the agenda.
We will have to wait and see what the court or how the court acts on his petition, and we will give further updates as soon as they are available.
Assistant Ombudsman Nico Clavano said the Office of the Ombudsman will not be distracted by dilatory tactics meant to derail the in-depth investigation into Co's supposed illegal and corrupt acts. The Department of Interior and Local Government, meanwhile, said authorities will intensify their search for Co.
He's using a foreign passport, so nakakaikot siya ng malaya ron. But now we're gonna go harder na i-red flag namin yung foreign passport niya. So kinukuha namin yung kopya ng passport and then we're gonna put it through Interpol na para hindi na siya makalabas ng Portugal. At kung lumabas man, mahuli natin.
BILG Secretary John Vic Remulla said they are coordinating with Swedish authorities and pushing for the issuance of an Interpol red notice against Co. Malacanang is also talking with the DILG to ascertain if Co showed up in Sweden.
Tiwala naman po ang Pangulo sa ginagawa pong trabaho ng ating mga ahensya ng gobyerno, lalo-lalo na sa pagtugi sa mga fugitives.
The palace admitted that the system should be improved to hasten the repatriation of those accused of various crimes.
A GDP shock rattled local stocks Thursday, sending the PSE index tumbling back to the 6,200 level, underperforming many of its peers.
But the fact that we undercut all estimates at this point, I think just, added to the bearishness.
In other corners of the market, gold and copper leading the metals rally, a boon for miners like Oceana Gold Philippines.
Obviously, we've entered a new era where the currencies, especially the U.S. dollar, continues to debase. Geopolitical tensions continue to be elevated, and folks are looking for an asset class that provides insulation to that.
Gold climbed 4% to over $5,500 an ounce, boosting this month's gain to over 28%, while silver extended this year's advance to 65% after surging 148% in 2025. Copper jumping 5% on the London Metal Exchange, while Brent crude climbed to its highest level since September. And because all of these assets are priced in dollars, they are benefiting from the greenback's decline. Meanwhile, in other corporate news, air conditioning and refrigeration firm Concepcion Industrial closed the fourth quarter of 2025 with a total of 6.3 billion pesos in group net sales. That's up 10% year on year. Meanwhile, Liberty Flour Mills officially begins a formal review of strategic options for its flour milling business and certain other non-core assets. It adds options to be considered during the review include, but are not limited to, a potential sale, demerger, joint venture, or the continued retention and further development of the flour business within the company's existing structure. And RCBC plans to offer fixed-rate peso-denominated bonds under its 200 billion peso bond and commercial paper program. Proceeds will be used to support the bank's asset growth, refinance maturing liabilities, and other general funding purposes. Finally, Security Bank Capital and its parent Security Bank Corporation has successfully led and closed a 2.015 billion peso project financing facility for Solar Valley Energy Solutions, a 65 megawatt peak ground-mounted solar power project in San Pablo, Isabela.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down and down. It's happened during every economic cycle, and it will happen again. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value and sometimes grows during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
Do you need to get your hands on some extra money right now? Maybe $25,000 or more? If you're a homeowner, now is the perfect time to get cash out. While homes in many neighborhoods like yours have gone up in value, you can use the money for anything. It's yours. You can buy an investment property, pay for college, pay off higher interest debt, or make home improvements. A cash out refinance is the perfect solution to get the cash you need. If you need $25,000, $50,000, or even $100,000, now's the time. Home values are up, and so is your equity. We offer you a way to use it. No need to sell your home or use your savings. Call New American Funding now and speak to a cash out refi specialist and see how much cash out you can get.
Call New American Funding at 855-332-3929. That's 855-332-3929. Call 855-332-3929.
ViaTimes, vital news, vibrant views for the Filipino Asian communities in Chicago. ViaTimes for your most interesting and exciting reading and your party coverages. ViaTime has very interesting columnists. You name it, ViaTimes has it. Law, Filipino news, dentistry, immigration, humor, serious opinions, health, beauty, mysticism, Bata Corner, showbiz, and intelligently written editorials. Call ViaTimes at 773-866-0811.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of the show. Today, I have a very interesting young man who is something to reckon with because he is a young Filipino American and he is running for Vice Governor of Illinois under the flagship of Mr. Bailey, who's running for governor. And his name is Mr. Aaron Del Mar. And you're from Palatine, right?
That's right. I grew up in the city of Chicago in Portage Park.
Palatine.
And
Okay.
then moved to Palatine.
Aaron,
That's correct.
welcome to our show. We're very proud to welcome you here. And knowing that you're a young Filipino American who's running for a very top position here in our state of Illinois.
Thank you for having me on
Aaron,
your show today.
welcome. Okay. Will you please, first thing first, will you please tell us a little bit of background about yourself, about your experience in or experiences in public service?
Of
As you're
course.
running for
So,
public service.
yes, I grew up in the city of Chicago in Portage Park, moved out to Palatine with my dad. My dad immigrated here in 1974 from Cebu. He met my mom, who is a nurse. She worked at Resurrection Hospital on Division Street in Chicago. And had some success in athletics in Palatine High School. Got a scholarship to Indiana University, where I was a pretty good athlete there, was 3 times All-American, went on to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, represented our country in the 2000 World Championships in Malaga, Spain. And then I came home after my athletic career and started a business and started a family. I'm a father of 6 children here in Palatine. My oldest are 22, then 20, then 17, then 10 years old. I started in politics in 2009. I ran for city councilman in Palatine. Roughly 68,000 people live in my town. I was the youngest, first minority to become elected as a city councilman. I went on in 2010 and became the Palatine Township Republican chairman, which is about 185,000 people, encompassing Palatine, Inverness, Rolling Meadows, Hoffman Estates, Arlington Heights, Barrington, and some parts of South Barrington. In 2012, I became the Cook County Republican chairman for the first time. 2016, I became the highway commissioner, president of the Inverness Fire Protection District, and also a delegate to the National Convention in Cleveland. 2020, I was again a delegate to the National Convention. 2004, also a delegate to the convention in Milwaukee. I also served on the Illinois International Port Authority. I've had another appointment to the Asian Family Services Organization here in Illinois, one by the minority leader of the House of Representatives, the other one by the governor of Illinois. And I currently serve still as the Cook County Republican chairman, highway commissioner. And I'm excited to run again for lieutenant governor with Darren Bailey, very strong conservative from Southern Illinois, very, very much in line with a lot of our conservative policies. And it's a great opportunity. And I am proud to carry the banner for Filipino Americans in Illinois as one of the youngest and first Filipinos and Asians running from this office.
Aaron, okay. Nice to hear. Very impressive. All right. Okay. Being a young Filipino American and more than that, an Asian American here in our state of Illinois, what are the agendas or the platform that you have for running for vice governor position?
Sure. Well, the 3 main things that we're running on are something that everybody in the state of Illinois can agree on. They're what we call 80-20 issues. The first one is affordability, specifically property taxes, utility bills. It's unacceptable in Illinois when you have many people that have a higher property tax than their mortgage payment. When people are seeing a 30, 40% increase in their utility bills and their electric and their gas, these are things that affect all Illinoisans and need to be re-looked at. There are 250,000 people that have left Illinois in the last 10 years that have not returned and not have been replaced. So we lose our representation in Washington. And when they leave also, they leave that burden of taxes with us. So affordability is the number one issue. Number two is public safety. As you've seen in Chicago specifically over the last couple of months, Labor Day weekend, 40 people were shot, 13 people lost their lives over 3 days. If you look at the Christmas tree lighting in Chicago and the opening of Chris Kindle Mart, 14 shots rang out, a 13-year-old lost their life. On the CTA, just a few months ago, somebody was doused with lighter fluid and lit on fire. People just want to be able to get to work, get to school, get to the grocery store and get home without having to worry about being harmed along the way. And then finally, education. Personally, I grew up in the city of Chicago and went to school for the first 4 years there. And, when my parents took me out of school in fourth grade, it was because I could not read, I could not write, and I could not count at a fourth grade level. And they moved me to a Catholic school. And really, that's a double tax. I mean, part of your property bills are supposed to pay for a quality education. So my parents had to work harder to be able to pay for that additional tuition so I could get those integral skills that you need to be able to thrive in Illinois, not just survive. Fortunately enough, they worked hard and moved us to the suburbs where I could get that better education in the Palatine school districts and in Palatine High School. But we want to make sure that everywhere in Illinois, no matter where you're from, if you're from Sangamon County, if you're from Cook County, if you're from DuPage County, if you're from Saline County, that you have that access to quality education. So every child that graduates high school in Illinois, if they go into the workforce, if they go to the military, if they go to trade school, or if they're fortunate enough like me to be able to go on to college, that they're prepared on day one for wherever life takes them.
Great, terrific. Okay. Here in Illinois, there is quite a large number of Filipino American population. And are you aware of that?
I am. My family came here. Like I mentioned, we were originally from Naga and Cebu. My aunts and my uncles all came and they left their lives in the Philippines in the early 70s to come to the United States to live that American dream. And one of the reasons that I'm running and representing not only Filipino Americans across Illinois, but also representing everyday Americans and everyday Illinoisans is because I want to make sure that that promise that was made to them when they left the Philippines to come here is still around for their children, for their grandchildren, and future generations. Darren and I believe that Illinois has a generational opportunity here to get Illinois on the right track, and that our leadership and our beliefs and our values are what most Illinoisans believe in. And with the current governor pushing us very far to the left as he auditions for president of the United States in a Democratic primary for 2028, his positions don't represent what most Illinoisans have. And, those are the issues that we're concentrating on, things that we all have in common together, and are not being separated by race or separated by a regional area or jurisdiction. We're definitely a grassroots group that is coming from the bottom up instead of billionaires coming from the top down.
I met you at the gala event of the Philippine Independence Week Committee kickoff. Are you familiar with attending the Filipino functions since you were born?
Yes. Well,
Filipinos are social butterflies.
Of course. My father graduated from Cebu Institute of Technology. I've been very blessed that even as a young child that he would take me to his different groups that were participating here in Chicago. And then I went to the Philippines to be there for my dad's 40th reunion with his other graduates. I took my wife with me and introduced her. She's an American. I introduced her to a lot of our culture. I introduced her to what it's like to be a Filipino in the Philippines. My parents always believed in making sure that I never forgot about my Filipino roots. So I've been to the Philippines 6 times. We usually go about every 5 years. We had a little break during the COVID where we didn't go, but we were there for the Sinulog. We're there to meet with our family. A lot of my dad's brothers and sisters still reside in the Philippines. He came from a family of 13, and about 8 of them still live in the Philippines, and we have very strong roots there. And we understand that the Philippine economy is really based on people that have left Filipinos, domestic workers, engineers, nurses, and send money back. And that's how we keep our ties there. And we're very much supportive of a lot of Filipino policies because that's what I was raised on.
Great, terrific. Do you speak the language Filipino or Tagalog?
So my dad speaks both Tagalog and Visaya. When I go to the Philippines, after about a week and a half, I'm pretty good at it. The challenge for me is that I don't get to practice as much as I would like. But understanding, the English dialect and understanding Spanish, which I use a little bit more than my Tagalog or my Visayan, those are things of area of growth that I would like to practice more. But running for vice governor of Illinois, raising my 6 kids, and developing my business. I started my family business here in the United States in 2000 and was able to grow it and develop it to make it a multi-state nationwide company from, $2,500 to making it a multi-million-dollar company. And having my children working for my company after they graduated college is one of my strongest success. Because a lot of concern that I had was when one of my sons went to Iowa State, my other son went to University of Illinois. I've got one now at Oakton and Des Plaines, and another one at the University of Iowa. I'm always concerned that they're not going to come back because the opportunity in Illinois is not as strong as there are in other states. When they leave Illinois, I'm always concerned if they're ever going to come back. Fortunate enough, our family bond is strong, but I would understand if they did because there's more opportunities and other states are more competitive. I think it's very sad that in Illinois, we export one of our greatest treasures, and that's our children. The path to being a first-time homeowner in Illinois, the path to being out of college debt, the path to getting a high-paying job, the path to being financially stable in Illinois is not what it was 10 years ago. And that's something that Darren and I are very concerned about, that we want to be able for Illinois families to be able to thrive in Illinois, not just survive.
What is your favorite Filipino food?
Lumpia, for sure. No question about it. I'm fortunate enough to have some great restaurants around me. A good friend of mine owns Pinoy Street Food in Arlington Heights on Rand Road. I'm a very big fan of that. The Filipino cuisine is something that it was always seen as a treat in my house. My parents, both had full-time jobs and worked a lot, and I was raised primarily by my grandmother, who was from the Philippines. And I even named my daughter after her. Isabel Delmar was my grandmother. We named my daughter Isabella in her honor because she was the one that took care of me on a daily basis and got me to school and got me to church. And she got me to where I needed to go so my parents could save and could work hard and to do that. And she was an integral part. So when she would cook for me, it was a sign of the love. It was a sign of warmth. It was comforting. And so when I have Filipino food today, I remember those times as somebody that loved me so much and raised me, and it brings back fond memories.
All right, very good. So proud of you, Aaron. Are you ready, willing and able to go around the Filipino American Community of Chicago for your campaign trails as candidate for vice governor of Illinois?
100%. Most people think I'm of Hispanic descent because my last name is Delmar. A lot of people don't realize that Spain had control of the Philippines for many, many years, and that's why a lot of our names are of Hispanic descent. But I'm always quick to remind them that as much as I treasure Hispanic people and their values, I'm a proud Filipino. I'm proud that my dad immigrated here and he left his family and left his opportunities in the Philippines to be able to give me a life better than he had. I'm proud to talk about our heritage. I'm proud for people to know that while we might be a smaller community compared to other minority groups, that we're very strong and we're very proud. We're very conservative. We're a community that believes in faith, that believes in God. And I like to share my story with fellow Filipinos that may not know that. It is an incredible honor to be on the ballot with Darren Bailey and to represent our Filipino community and the Asian community as a whole. And I'm excited to be able to teach my children and participate in events because they're a quarter Filipino. And I want them to know their heritage. I want them to know that the troubles and the struggles that my father had to bring us here. Because I think it's important to identify who they are. And of course, we assimilate into American culture. You know, they're Americans. But it didn't start here. It started in Cebu. And I think it's important to be respectful to my family in the Philippines, to honor them and to show them what we can do here in Illinois and in the United States.
All right. Thank you so much. When is the election?
So the first election is March 17th. And I think that's important for people to remember. That March 17th is the election. You can early vote 2 weeks before. That's right. Please come out and vote for us. You know, the Republican primary, you need to ask for a Republican ballot. You'll see Darren Bailey and Aaron Del Mar. I joke around. It's the farmer and the Del. You know, right? He's a farmer from Southern Illinois. And my last name's Del Mar. So we tell everyone vote for the farmer and the Del. I feel very positive that we're going to be strong in this primary. The polling shows us ahead by a very significant margin. And then after March 17th, we're going to turn our sights onto November and representing us at the highest level of office. Wouldn't it be exciting? Wouldn't it be something very proud to have one of our own Filipinos from Chicago, from the suburbs, to represent us at the second highest office in Illinois? My dad has been traveling with me on the campaign trail, and he's a very strong supporter. And he's gone on and said to me many times, you know, son, I never imagined when I came here from the Philippines that my son would be running for vice governor. You know, and it touches me. It's a very emotional time for me and my dad, because I know that he worked so hard so I could have this opportunity.
Great. Okay. All right. Thumbs up. All right, everyone. I am really very happy to have you here on our show today. Thank you for gracing our show. And please holler if you need some help around the community, all right? And,
yes.
And maraming salamat sa iyo. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas!
That's right. Thank you so much. You can go to baileyforillinois.com if you want to learn more about me, if you want to see pictures of my family, if you want to sign up to be a volunteer, if you want to donate to our campaign. Every dollar helps move Illinois forward. So you can go to baileyforillinois.com and learn more about our positions, our campaign, and more about me. Or you can also go to Aaron for Illinois is my website also. And you can see my history, you can see my heritage, you can see my positions, the offices that I've held. I think it's important for people to know and to be able to trust that Darren Bailey and I are ready to govern on day one. We've already run statewide. Darren was a state representative, a state senator. I've started out, like I mentioned, as a councilman, all the way to co-chairman of the Illinois GOP statewide. We are the team that is honest, that is transparent, and that is ready to do the right things for the people of Illinois and represent you well and work very hard for all Illinoisans. And it's a pleasure and an honor to be on your show. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Maraming salamat at mabuhay si Aaron.
Anong laman?
Okay, thank you for gracing our show and bye. Maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. Ako po si Veronica. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.
This is a prayer and a reminder. All we have is now. Anak, umuwi ka na.
Worldwide this morning, growing concern over a growing health crisis.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
Hi. I can't hug you. Don't touch me.
Over the last several days, we have seen peaceful demonstrations.
Protests over police brutality continued here in Austin.
Remember when you started going to college? You came home a liberal?
Dad, please.
That's what we do to you guys in school.
All these people that we never met and never will meet because of what had happened to them. It's just too much.
The way that our family communicates is not necessarily, it's not great.
What advice would you give for those of us that are struggling?
Deal with it.
I think the norm for our community has been to just stay silent and like keep to your own business.
I could definitely be doing more than I'm doing right now, and I know that others can as well.
What if someone is called from God to be an activist?
I can answer that question.
Shouting revolution, oh wow, breaking each tradition.
You don't believe in the Black Lives Matter movement?
An advocacy group reporting at least 3,800 anti-Asian hate incidents since last March.
I'm kind of conflicted. I'm like, maybe I should move home and be here with them.
I hope that this moment makes you take a step forward and a step together in the right direction.
In order for a subject to not be taboo in our community, there always has to be like someone to start that conversation.
You speak up for me when I can't speak up for myself. And I've seen you do that for other people.
I see a lot of people who just kind of cut off friends and family, and I don't think I can do that. I love my parents.
This is a symbol of our voices. If you look at your neighbors around you, you will see who stands with you, who stands for you.
At least I know that you can stand up. That's the thing I'm so happy about.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of the show. Today, I have a very impressive young Asian American lawyer guest here in our show, and his name is Ian Sharping. Ian is he's a lawyer, and he works as commissioner for the Illinois Court of Claims, and he's also working as assistant professor of legal studies at Harper College. That is just to name a few accomplishments of this young lawyer. And let us welcome Ian Sharping on our show. And please, Ian, you really have an impressive and extensive bio. And will you please, I invited you here. First thing, because of your upcoming award, and we'll talk about it later. And please tell our viewing audience about your other accomplishments in your professional career.
All right. So as you'd mentioned, I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer since 2003. I've worked all over the place. I've done some work in the public defender's office in Lake County, Indiana, done a little bit of work for the state's attorney over there as well. I've done civil rights litigation in both state and federal court, mostly in the Western District in Rockford. I've done some general practice litigation stuff, and then I really transitioned careers into higher education and nonprofit work in about 2012, initially working for the city colleges of Chicago, doing some teaching and also working in administration, in budgeting and strategic planning, and then doing some work in accreditation and compliance. While I was there, I did some work with student records and privacy. So I also have a master's degree in cybersecurity from Brown University. I got that in 2018, and then helped transition some of the programming from the old Malcolm X College into the new building, and did a bunch of work there. That led to me going over to Instituto del Progreso Latino on the Chicago's southwest side, they're a nonprofit, also in education, workforce development, helped them open a nursing college, also did a bunch of work there, workforce development, community outreach, vaccination stuff, toy drives, food drives, all kinds of stuff there, which led me to more work in that space, opening up credit programming, already college for CompTIA, career technical organization, and then now kind of getting back into some of my roots and went back to doing some teaching. And then I was appointed as a commissioner for the Illinois Court of Claims. So as you had mentioned, I teach, I'm at Harper College, folks who want to get into the legal system and be paralegals. And then I work also as a commissioner with the Court of Claims, and the Court of Claims oversees cases where the state of Illinois is a defendant. So you're suing the state of Illinois, and I'm one of the commissioners, so hearing officer for them. I've been doing that for the last just over a year. Most of those cases involve folks who are incarcerated and they are upset with the state of Illinois. So those are the vast majority of the cases that I handle now. Like I said, in addition to teaching, so that's the stuff that I get paid for. On the nonprofit end, as you had mentioned, I'm president of FALA Chicago, which is the Filipino American Lawyers Association. Although I'm outgoing, the new person will be coming in shortly here in 2026. I also sit on the board for the Chinese Mutual Aid Association, so I'm a board member there. And then I am the secretary and treasurer for AFB, which is the American Association for Paralegal Education. So I do a lot of community service work through those three organizations and somewhat in different capacities. One as a lawyer, one more as an educator, and one more as just a community servant. I like all the work I do in all three different capacities. And I feel like it was very important work to be done, especially this last year, making sure that some of those voices continue to be heard in sometimes, tough atmosphere. So really proud of that, and, ready to continue moving forward in 2026 with that work and help where I can help.
Wow. With all those impressive things that you've been doing as a young professional, young lawyer professional, it's just so impressive. Yan. Being a father of 3 boys, my goodness. When do you find time to breathe?
Yeah, it's I think that the saying is, if you want something done, give it to somebody who's busy. I certainly fit into that category. And I think you had mentioned also, my wife is also a lawyer. She owns her own practice, and yeah, we're busy professionals, and we've got 3 young ones. I will give a shout out to my mother-in-law. She lives with us. She certainly helps with our 3 boys. But really trying to stay efficient and prioritize the work that needs to be done and get to it. If you wait, you procrastinate, it's tough to keep up. So trying to do that has been helpful, and it keeps me energetic, keeps me feeling youthful to try and keep up and work in all of those spaces.
Well, congratulations, and more luck to your family life. Anyway, let's go to the award that you will be receiving sometime soon. And will you please address our viewing audience about this award that you will be receiving?
Definitely. So I'm going to be receiving the Advocate for Diversity Award this Thursday, January 22nd. The organization that gives out that award is the Diversity Scholarship Foundation, and their main purpose is to help diversify the legal profession by offering scholarships to all kinds of different students in law school. And they give awards out to scholarships to students in Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, Michigan, and I think Missouri for the first time this year. So really proud to be part of that. And by diversity, I mean, they really mean diversity. So, women have been underrepresented in the law. Folks with physical disability have been underrepresented in the law. Different minority groups, including Filipinos, have been underrepresented as legal practitioners and leaders in that space. And so this organization helps open doors for those folks to take that first step, get into law school, and then pay for law school and make it through. And then, of course, you then have this network of legal professionals who can help guide you throughout your journey. So to be recognized by that type of organization is an honor. I'm going to be on stage with one of the Supreme Court justices of Illinois, some nonprofit leaders. So, and then of course, all the recipients of the scholarships. So it's a really cool event. It's at the JW Marriott downtown. Last year, there was something like 1,000 guests there, all throughout the legal community. So judges, lawyers, folks who are, impacted heavily by the legal community. So there'll be, folks who work in government, nonprofits, all in attendance. And it's a cool event. It's a fun event. It's nice to network and reconnect with other folks who are doing other great work in the community, and then discuss like what else needs to be done. What can we do to make this legal profession even better, more effective, help people that can't get help. There's a statistic out there in 2025, 77% of the people who need lawyers can't get them or don't know how to get them. That's a huge group of people that's being underserved. Wow. And so that's a big part of what we're trying to do. Is it a cultural breakdown? Is it that, we don't know who to reach out to, who to trust? And if those are problems, I feel like it's part of my mission to get myself out there and reach out to those folks so they can get the help that they need and move forward with their lives. We're trying to help people at their lowest point, whether that's a job issue, an injury, a divorce, somebody passed away in the family. Those are huge challenges for any individual. And, sometimes they just don't know where to start, who to reach out to, how to move forward, and they're stuck. And really that's part of what we try to do as legal practitioners. We want to help you in this time when you're really just not sure maybe where to go, or you know how to get there, but you need an expert to guide you through the steps that are necessary. So
wow.
I'm happy to do that work and driven to do it even better.
Gosh, all right. More congratulations to you, Ian. Oh, what an impressive award. And before we sign off, please tell our viewing audience, being a young lawyer and being married to another young, pretty lawyer, how does life treat you?
Well, life's been good to me. Some things that are good, are really special about being a lawyer is you can help the community. And whatever that community is, you're also seen as a leader with special skills. Use them, take advantage of them, get out there, live, lead, follow your passions. You can do that. And some folks are like, well, I don't know, the law seems so like they can only think of being a criminal defense attorney. That's not true. You can work in any field. Every vertical needs a lawyer. If you want to work in media, right? You need lawyers. If you want to work in education, they need lawyers. If you want to work in finance and banking, they need lawyers. Real estate, they need lawyers. Doctors and healthcare professionals, they need lawyers. So, and you don't necessarily have to be a lawyer in that capacity. You can work in compliance. I've done that. You can work as an instructor, an educator. I've done that. But just having that background allows you doors to be open. And then if you want to be an entrepreneur, you can certainly go ahead and do that, as my wife has done. And so is it easy? No, it's not easy. Is it fulfilling? Yes, absolutely. And I think it leads to a meaningful life. And so I would encourage anyone who's at all interested, pursue that dream of becoming a lawyer. And if you want to talk more about it, I'm open anytime.
Great. Wow, I salute you. Thank you. I really salute you, Ian, and more good luck to you. And get us updated about your career and your upcoming award. All right. Thank you so much for gracing our show today. I really appreciate it. Bye now, Ian. Maraming salamat. Okay.
Thank you.
At maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. Ako po si Veronica. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye!
We would like to welcome all of you to Baladna Jewelry. We have a very big selection of 21 karat gold jewelry imported from the Middle East, from Dubai, Saudi, and Bahrain. And we have a very big selection of diamond. We offer free financing for 6 months, and we have a layaway system which you can leave your stuff for 3 months. We repair gold and we buy old gold. Welcome to Baladna Jewelry.
Salamat po.
Good afternoon. This is Brigitte, Carino, Cueter, bringing you this week's local news from our community. A U.S. District Judge ordered Immigration and Customs Enforcement Acting Director Todd Lyons to appear in Minnesota federal court and show cause why he should not be held in contempt. The extraordinary order, issued late Monday by Chief U.S. District Judge Patrick Schultz, reflects mounting judicial frustration with the Trump administration's aggressive immigration enforcement campaign in the Twin Cities known as Operation Metro Surge. Schultz warned that ICE has repeatedly ignored or slow-walked court orders directing the release of detainees, declaring bluntly that the court's patience is at its end, Politico reported. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias is urging residents who still need a real ID to take advantage of the final Saturday of expanded hours at the downtown Real ID Supercenter before TSA's new $45 penalty takes effect on Sunday, February 1st. This Saturday is the final chance to take advantage of expanded hours on Saturdays at a Real ID Supercenter to avoid TSA's $45 penalty, Giannoulias said. To make it as easy as possible for Illinoisans to get their Real ID, we have expanded Saturday hours, opened hundreds of new appointments, and partnered with the Cook County Clerk's Office to streamline the process. Don't wait until it's too late. Act now and secure your Real ID before the penalty kicks in. Starting February 1st, TSA will begin charging airline passengers an additional $45 if they don't have a Real ID or valid U.S. passport to board a domestic flight. Governor J.B. Pritzker announced a $50 million grant opportunity is available through the Rebuild Illinois Capital Program. The funding will support the Community Health Center construction grants for federally qualified health centers and lookalikes at a time when the Trump administration is cutting critical healthcare funding. The grant opportunity expands access to healthcare services by facilitating the construction or renovation of community-based healthcare facilities, especially for centers in underserved and rural areas. While the federal government strips essential healthcare funding from communities in need, Illinois is stepping up to support accessible, high-quality healthcare for families across the state, said Governor J.B. Pritzker. With these Rebuild Illinois grants, providers will have the opportunity to enhance their facilities, improve care for their communities, and support our state's tireless efforts to fight against healthcare disparities. I encourage all eligible community health centers to apply for this critical funding. As winter weather brings extreme cold across Illinois, fire safety officials are urging residents to use extra caution when heating their homes. Frigid temperatures often lead people to rely more heavily on heating systems and alternative heat sources, which can increase the risk of home fires and carbon monoxide poisoning if proper safety precautions are not followed. In 2024, Illinois fire departments responded to 9,860 carbon monoxide-related calls across the state. According to the National Carbon Monoxide Awareness Association, emergency rooms across the U.S. see more than 100,000 visits each year due to CO exposure. Tragically, over 14,000 people are hospitalized annually, and approximately 1,200 people die each year from carbon monoxide poisoning, a number that continues to rise. Each year, hundreds of people across Illinois are treated in emergency rooms due to carbon monoxide exposure, and over the past decade, an average of 20 people per year have died from accidental CO poisoning. The Secretary of State's office is making it easier and faster for Illinois-based commercial trucking firms to renew their federal registration credentials by expanding online filing and payment options. Companies with fewer than 250 vehicles can now complete International Registration Plan (IRP) renewals online by uploading their IRS-issued Heavy Vehicle Use Tax (HVUT) Form 2290 and submitting payment electronically. Once required documents are confirmed, registration credentials will be emailed within 3 business days, eliminating the need for an in-person visit to the Dirksen DMV in Springfield. This enhancement reflects our ongoing commitment to modernizing services and reducing unnecessary paperwork and in-person requirements for Illinois businesses, said Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Junius. By expanding online IRP renewals, we're creating conveniences and saving time for businesses and truck drivers while maintaining the accuracy and integrity of the registration process. Gold prices extended their record-setting rally to surge past $5,100 on Monday as central banks and investors sought refuge from geopolitical risks and Trump-induced market volatility. Spot gold was up 2.2% at $5,091.61 an ounce by 1.40 GMT after hitting a record of $5,110.50. U.S. gold futures for February delivery gained the same amount to $5,089.90. Gold soared 64% in 2025 for its biggest annual gain since 1979, shattering multiple records on the back of safe haven demand, U.S. monetary policy easing, robust central bank purchases, and record inflows into exchange-traded funds. That's all for today. Thank you for watching our news this week. This is Brigitte. See you next time.
This is a prayer and a reminder. All we have is now. Anak, umuwi ka na.
Worldwide this morning, growing concern over a growing health crisis.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
Hi. I can't hug you. Don't touch me.
Over the last several days, we have seen peaceful demonstrations.
Protests over police brutality continued here in Austin.
Remember when you started going to college? You came home a liberal?
Dad, please.
That's what we do to you guys in school.
All these people that we never met and never will meet because of what had happened to them. It's just too much.
The way that our family communicates is not necessarily, it's not great.
What advice would you give for those of us that are struggling?
Deal with it.
think the norm for our community has been to just stay silent and like keep to your own business.
I could definitely be doing more than I'm doing right now, and I know that others can as well.
What if someone is called from God to be an activist?
I can answer that question.
Shouting revolution, oh wow, breaking each tradition.
You don't believe in the Black Lives Matter movement?
An advocacy group reporting at least 3,800 anti-Asian hate incidents since last March.
I'm kind of conflicted. I'm like, maybe I should move home and be here with them.
I hope that this moment makes you take a step forward and a step together in the right direction.
In order for a subject to not be taboo in our community, there always has to be like someone to start that conversation.
You speak up for me when I can't speak up for myself. And I've seen you do that for other people.
I see a lot of people who just kind of cut off friends and family, and I don't think I can do that. I love my parents.
This is a symbol of our voices. If you look at your neighbors around you, you will see who stands with you, who stands for you.
At least I know that you can stand up. That's the thing I'm so happy about.